So here's a training video on how to record a video when you're reaching out and doing prospecting with screen recording, along with having a hook in your messaging. So it's all about connecting with the hook and it's all about connecting visually as well as you're reaching out. So we're going to use a specific example here. We have our friend Rob who's with us here at Dubb, and he made these two videos that we're just going to review really quickly and just give some specific notes and best practices on these right here. So this example right here, let's first look at the visual. So right here, Rob is using on the Dubb mobile app, he is using the whiteboard feature, and you can make it a blackboard too. So the black is kind of cool sometimes. You can have that good background. It stands out. The best, not the biggest. Now, I would just make, I believe we can make the text slightly bigger. I haven't played with that too much in terms of pinching or a sequence on that, but I would make it a little bit bigger or a little bit closer to camera when it first begins. A little bit tough to read, but it was a very good idea in terms of the hook with, because that's their phrase for this particular heating company, Heat and Airing, is they want to be the best, not the biggest, which you mentioned in the video. So having this important hook is very, very important. We have an AI tool called Dubb Agent, which you can chat with and create a hook with that or any other AI tool that you're using. The hook is very important. And also the visual part of this, Rob's chosen to be on the actual company site here, which is great. Now, the thing that would be the tutorial part of this in terms of just slight adjustment would be when you begin recording a video. I'm just going to hit play here, Rob, and we're going to see here. Ready?
Go ahead.
Okay, so a slight adjustment there. So that was about how many? It was about 9 seconds. Okay, so just when you're recording a video that looks like this, when you record a dub video, and I'll show you this as an example right here inside here. This is the same thing. This is a screen recording video. Notice how I'm holding up the hook, but I'm talking at the same time. When you're recording a video with Dubb in any way that you record, the first 3 seconds will be captured as the preview, but you just continue recording the video. So you want to speak as the video begins, as you're holding that up. So how that would look would be something like this. I'll open up the Dubb Chrome extension here, which is a browser-based screen recorder. And now I'm on the page, and I'm going to get the hook on the Dubb mobile app, D-U-B-B-A-P-P, Dubb app is what you're going to get here. And there's a little whiteboard feature where you can type, okay? I switched the hook to the 41%, Rob, because I like your hook on the 41%. Are you missing that? We'll talk about that in a second. But regardless, you get the hook, you turn it, you have it in here, okay? Now, the key to this working is when I hit record, this is what's going to happen. I'm going to hit record over here. I'm going to choose, let's go. I think I'm right there. There I am. 3, 2, 1 countdown. It'd be like this. Hey, I look 41%. Let me do that again. Hold on. I screwed up on the hook. But my point is going to be is when you hit record, you're going to keep talking. So it would be like this. 41%. That is so important because I don't know if you realize this or not, because you guys have a great business from what I've seen here on your site. 41% is the percentage in a recent study of missed call and sales opportunities. There were issues that happened with heating and cooling, and no one was available. Imagine being able to have an AI service that can answer all those questions in real time and get appointments set. That's what you have to think about what you're missing here. The point is, when I hit record, I'm going to hit the save button down here at the bottom. When you hit record, hold the hook up, say, reference it, because you said be the best, not the biggest. I agree with you. Let's be the best, not the biggest. I love that on your site. The point is, when you hit record, you got to start speaking and then just point and do your thing and bring it out of camera. Hold it up for just a couple seconds and bring it down. That way, in the animated preview, you'll be able to see the movement, but I'm also talking. So when we play it back, 41%, that is so important. That way there's not that dead space, Rob, where you're just holding it up. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just want to eliminate that. And that's a big part of it there. In terms of the story that you had in there, which I thought was really good. You were talking about taking care of your mom, and there was that issue that happened and how much money that would cost, and the scenarios we had the doors closing. All of that's really good for connection. I think there's probably just a conjuncted version of it you can do that's a little bit shorter. Because at the end of the day, you're connecting with a personal story, but at the same time, you got to get right to the reason they're watching the video. Because right now, the length is about 2 minutes and 11 seconds. I would get that down to a minute, maybe less, to get right into it. And I think the efficiency of the message will make a big deal. And then also, if you want to as well, this is something that you can do at the same time. Let me go back to this video here. You can use the annotations. So if you have something that you want to point out, you can point out with the annotations what you're looking at. So if you want to point out some version of what's happening, like that expression, you can actually point that out on the page, which makes a lot of sense. So I would say from a notes perspective, brevity, minute or less. When you're holding up that hook, start speaking when the video begins and reiterate that hook. The end, you had a good CTA. You know, you said, hey, click below to book a time in my calendar, and there it is right there. So that works very well. In terms of sending this video out, just make sure you have a good hook in your subject line. We talk about, you're sending it by email, right, Rob?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you want to make sure that you have this right here. We talk about this all the time. It's this. You want to make sure you have the word video in the subject line, rare that you see it, and then you want to have your hook right here. And then you can have, similar hook right there. You can have up here, hey, you're the best, but you're not the biggest, or don't want to be the biggest. You could relate it to that. So I think you're on the right path in terms of the hook. I also think for efficiency purposes, this is something to think about. If you wanted to record just the opening to, because if you like, how many personal videos do you do for these, Rob? How many a day do you do?
Well, I'm just starting, but I've got about 20 scripts ready to go.
Okay, and they're all personalized, like different companies
Yeah.
that you looked up with their site. Okay, um, okay, then look, it's really a choice of do you want to do individual ones like you've done, which are great. Who doesn't love individual videos? You know, if you want to be able to do those, talking about specifically about the company, or you could, if you wanted to, take the opening, the hook, and just do the hooks, right? Where you're on their site, you're saying the hook, okay? And then it could cut to this your standard walkthrough where you talk about the 41% that's being missed, the issue that with your mom and that whole situation, it's a kind of conjuncted version of that. And then you can just combine the two things together. Um, the ultra short way is that you could use the Dubb desktop app as a screen recorder, and you could have one video you record that always focuses on the 41%. So where if you record it at once and say 41%, I was just checking out your site right here, and that's what a lot of ACE companies miss. And I can see you've got a great site right here. So in other words, you're saying stuff, but you're not, it sounds like you're talking right about that site right there, but you have a nice general video that you could put on top of anything that would definitely work. So it's just a choice of how specific do you want to get and how do you want to record it. Does that make sense, Rob?
Yes, it does. And the sort of that long area right at the beginning where I talk about moving to California, I'm trying to tell these people that I know a lot about Texas
Yeah.
because I'm,
Yeah.
you know,
Mhm.
I want to make it sound like I'm one of them, which I really am because I spent 40 years in Texas.
It's a great, I think the efficiency is just with the line. Or Rob, just put a cowboy hat on when you begin. That way, right away they know. No, no kidding. But I would do the just shorten it. That's all you need to do is just shorten it. You could
Yeah.
say, been in California, but I'm from Texas. Just something as simple as that, and I know the area. That's all you have to say. And then you could even shorten the story with your mom. Say, listen, I was taking care of my mom. We had an incident happen that cost 18 grand to get it fixed. You know what I mean? Just something that stands out in their head, and it's just shorter. So you can use Dubb Agent, the AI, give it the script and say, shorten this. Because the scripts that you
Okay.
have now, you have 20 of them. I would just shorten them down to start like a minute. Just put it to a minute or less.
Yeah.
And then your
Dubb
delivery.
AI wrote the scripts.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just shorten it. Give it back to Dubb. Did you use Dubb Agent? What did you use?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Say, hey,
The
Dubb Agent, do me a favor. Shorten this. I want it to be a minute or less. Just be very specific with the notes, and I would just make those adjustments. But I think the whole idea is shortness, hook, get right into it. No dead space when you're
yeah.
doing it. Get right into it because you got their attention. I would want to know what the 41% is. I would think it's cool that you use my phrase. I wonder what about it? Was there something in the phrase that I missed, or did like it, not like it? There is that curiosity factor.
Yeah. Good.
Does that make sense, Rob?
It does.
Yeah, and then
Having
just
I think having their website there is very important.
great.
And missing the 41% is important.
It's
So,
fantastic. Yeah.
yeah,
Nothing like curiosity with a number and being on their page. That those are two
yeah.
big steps you've done that are great. And if you want to, when you redo one, I would just start with one, redo it. And then if you want to send it over to feedback, then I'll get right back to you on it.
Okay. I'll do that today.
Does that help?
Yes, sir. Sure
Great.
does.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks. And that's what you want to do in terms of screen recordings. We do in prospecting, pull up someone's site, use the Dubb Chrome extension screen recorder, put yourself in a bubble, use the Dubb app, Dubb mobile app, have your whiteboard right there with your hook. Brevity, minute or less, get right into it, let them relate, and have a strong CTA at the end where you want them to book a time in your calendar.